welcome to Once Upon a Stitch Nook, my desk where the creativity happens. I am going to show you how to do the sleeve for my rose cardigan, cottage rose cardigan, my apologies. And I've already done a tutorial on how to do the armband, which is what this is. Never mind the little tail it's sticking out of it. And we're going to be working off of this band. So we're going to be working top portion of the sleeve and the bottom. What you're going to need is a 4mm hook and your main color for the cardigan, which in my case is the Yarntopia Rose, and it's a 2-weight yarn. Depending on what you're using, it's fine. You just will have to, this is a made to measure, so you can see where your yarn, if it's smaller, so you work more stitches, or if it's bigger, you work fewer stitches. And so that's all there is to that for the pattern. This is just to give you a visual guide on how I construct the sleeve. So at any point in the top portion of your band, which is this side, on the side where you see the rose buds and not the side with the green, like, you know, stem leaf bits, that would be in the bottom. We want them pointing up. So you can join in at any point along these. I like to do a bit on the opposite side of where we had the join for the band, just for later when we're doing the arm shaping, because it'll be facing on the shoulder side. All right, so we'll just join in. I'm going to bring you down now to see more clearly. So I just picked up at any point and joined in, and I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to double crochet into that same stitch. This is our starting V stitch. So the 4 chain counts as a double crochet plus a chain. Then you're going to chain 1. You're going to skip 3 stitches, and in the 4th, you're going to make a V stitch, a regular V stitch, which means a double crochet, a chain 1, and a double crochet in the same stitch. Then you'll chain 1 and skip 3. That's your repeat. V stitch, chain 1, skip 3. I'll show you one more. So we're skipping 3. I'm creating a V stitch and chain 1 and skip 3 and continue all the way around the band. So I'm at my last repeat. So I've already done a chain, skipping 3, insert and make a V stitch, chain 1, skip 3, which leads us to our original V stitch. I'm going to slip stitch into that one. Whoops, that was not a clean slip stitch. There we go. And so that is our foundation. And now comes the repeat, which you will be working up for however long you want your arm to be, with about 2.5 inches shy of your shoulder, along with the shaping. So we will see that later to give you a better idea. But this is going to be a repeat round. So let's chain 4 again, double crochet into the V chain. So here we made ourselves another V stitch, chain 1, and we're essentially doing the same thing as the first row, but we're, instead of skipping anything or any of that, we're working into the V stitch chains. So make another V stitch in the V chain, like so, chain 1, and do it again. Chain 1, and so on. As we come on to our last V stitch, we do a V stitch, chain 1, and we meet our original V stitch, so we're just going to slip stitch into that one and then repeat that round. A little tip that I like to do to make sure the first V stitches look a little neater is I slip stitch into the double crochet stitch here, the upper chain here, because that helps center where I work the V stitch. I'll show you how that looks. So I chain 4, double crochet into the V-stitch, and you see how it kind of keeps it nicely centered there. So that's just a tip. It is not required. And you'll just repeat that round for the length you want your upper arm, depending where you want your band to fall on your arm. If you want it really high, if you want it near the elbow. So just kind of keeping that in mind, work this up. Up for, I don't know, let me see what I have. So it looks like I work mine for 9 rows before we'll do some increasing and then shaping for the shoulders. So, and that's just based on my preference where I wanted the band to fall. I was trying to keep it a little high up, not towards the elbow. So just carry on with this row until you reach that desired length. You can of course watch and see how the shaping pans out and how that affects the length of this to give you a better idea. I'll see you when we start to do the increases. Here we are at, I've done 9 rows of the repeat and we're going to start increasing. So start as usual, chain 4, double crochet into the V chain, chain 1. Where you would normally go into the next one, we're going to do a V stitch into the same V chain we just did. So it's going to look very clumpy in here, and chain 1. Into the next V chain, we're going to do V stitch, chain 1, and another V stitch in the same chain. And then chain 1. So you see we have these 2 fans and they're composed of 2 V stitches each with the chains in between. Next we're going to do a regular V stitch into the V chain, chain 1, so as usual, and we're going to make another increase in the next one. So V stitch, chain 1, and in the same one we're going to do another V stitch. Let me bring this down a bit, and chain 1, so you see there. Now you're going to do the regular V stitch pattern, so V stitch, chain 1, V stitch, chain 1, until you reach the 3rd V stitch from the end. So go ahead and do that. However many V stitches you have for your width. I got 1, 2, 3, 1 more. Chain 1. Alright, now I'm going to do an increase in the 3rd V stitch away from the end. So we're doing a V stitch again, chain 1, V stitch, chain 1, a regular V stitch, chain 1 in the next one, and then another increase in the last V stitch. So V stitch, chain 1, and then V stitch, chain 1, and you'll slip stitch into the first V stitch we did in the round. So you'll see you'll have 3 V increases here, then a V stitch on either side, and then another increase, and the rest should just be regular V stitches. You can, if this is not widening for your armhole, you can add extra increases wherever you want. You just want to make sure you do have these 3 here and the 2 on the side here. And for the next 2 rows, you're going to simply do the V-stitch pattern again. So you'll start with your chain 4, and you'll just be careful, double crochet, chain 1. When you're in the increase sections, to make sure you're not going in between them, you want it inside the V-stitches. So just keep that in mind. So we're going into the second V-stitch that's in the increase, chain 1, and on to the next V-stitch. V-stitch, chain 1, carefully going into the next V-stitch in the increase, V-stitch, chain 1. This one's nice and clear, it's just 1 V-stitch, chain 1. You have another increase, V-stitch, chain 1, carefully go into the next one, V-stitch, chain 1, and so on. So just do that all the way around, and you'll do that for one more row. Unless you find you need some extra length going around for the shoulder, you can of course add on, but I do just 2 rows of this repeat. Alright, I've done my 2 repeat rounds. You can see where the increase happened, and I just worked a V-stitch pattern all the way up. Now we're going to mark, you can eyeball it, or I'm going to mark it to make it a little more clear. Let's bring you down where we're going to mark for our shaping. So we're going to take into account the 3 increases we did here, and we want to have them centered. And either you can simply eyeball the sides like so, or you can count how many V-stitches you have. In my case, let me see. In my case, I have 17. So that's an odd number. I'm going to allocate the extra V-stitch to the back. And so that brings 16. Half of 16 would be 8. And so I'm going to take, starting with my increase here, 2, 4, 6, 8. And I want to mark these V-stitches. So I'm going to place stitch markers in the 1st and 8th. So 2, 4, 6, 8, bring it over here. And so that means 9 should be back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. And so that's what you want to keep in mind. Now, with those marked, regardless of how many you have, you want to end up in this in-between chain space, 2 V-stitches to your right where the marked stitch is. So you want, or you can consider it from the marked stitch, you want to be in the chain space after the second one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the work and slip stitch my way there. And so I try to do a slip stitch per each chain and each stitch. Like so. So you can see when I bring it back, now this may be a little too close. You see I have a V-stitch, a V-stitch, and I am now here in the chain space. Oops, I did not mean to do that. There. And just kind of bring it around. Now, directly from here, we're going to start our shaping at this point. So you just will slip stitch away however many V-stitches you need to move past to get to this point, leaving 2 V-stitches after it. So we're going to do a V-stitch directly into the next V-stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. And so you can see that is giving it directly off of the base instead of building it with chains like we usually do. Chain 1, and from here it should look familiar. You're just going to do your V-stitch pattern of a V-stitch, chain 1 in each across until we again want to leave 2 V-stitches left. So you want to work into the 3rd away from the marked stitch. So in my case that's not many, yours might be many more. It just depends on the width you have for your arm sleeve. And oh, and forgive me, on the last V-stitch that we end on, in the 3rd away from the marked stitch, we're not going to do a chain 1. Instead, we're just going to slip stitch in the in-between chain, as you can see. So you're mirroring what we did over here. And so in my case, I've done four V-stitches for here. Now, basically, this will be considered the second row. So I want you to slip stitch, let me bring this down a bit, into the next in-between space. So we're just right past that next V-stitch. So here we are. So we see we have the marked stitch, and in between, we're at the in-between chain. So we're going to turn our work, and then V-stitch directly into that V-stitch we just slipped past. So there we have a V-stitch, chain 1, continue in the V-stitch pattern as usual in each V-stitch. So you do V-stitch, chain 1, V-stitch. Sorry, my markers are dragging on the table, making all these fun clinking sounds. I'm not sure if that's picking up. Okay, this is the V-stitch we started in the first row, chain 1, and now the V-stitch before the marked stitch, we're just going to do a V-stitch, no chain, there we go, and slip stitch in between. There we go. Now we're going to slip stitch, and I tend to take out the marker at this point, past the marked V-stitch into the chain space after it. So let's just slip stitch our way there. Okay, we'll turn our work and repeat like before. A V-stitch directly in where we just slipped past that marked stitch. You can maybe move the marker down if you still want to see it. Chain 1 and continue in the V-stitch pattern. Like so. Okay, chain 1. This is the last one we want to go in. I'm going to take the stitch marker out. I'm just going to lower it so you can still see that it is indeed the marked stitch. You could maybe do this from the beginning instead of like I do in the top chain. So you'll do a V-stitch and then a slip stitch in the in-between chain. And after that, you'll just cut yourself a nice long tail to use to sew this to the cardigan. All right, and that is your upper sleeve. So you see, let me see. You're going to get about this much. Do I have a measuring tape? Not measuring tape with me, but I do have a ruler. Okay, so at the increase, actually we'll get close to 3 inches of extra length. So when you're deciding on your length for the repeat pattern, this will help. You want to leave about 3 stitches for the curvature, bringing it to the top of your cardigan. And now we will work on the bottom. All right, similar to the top, we are going to join anywhere we want on the bottom cuff. This one I like to do more what is going to be kind of inward facing our side or underarm, but it can just be anywhere. So you'll join it, chain 4, double crochet into the same stitch, create a V-stitch, chain 1. So all looking very familiar. But in this case, instead of skipping 3, we want to make this an increase round. So you're just going to skip 2. Here it's a little messy because this was the join for the band. So that's a little unclear. 1, 2, 3, Whoops, let me get that in better. So in the third stitch, you do your V-stitch, chain 1. Let me see if I can bring it in a little better. Skip 2, V-stitch, chain 1, like so, and just repeat that for the base. V-stitch, chain 1, skip 2. Working my last V-stitch in the row, chain 1, and I'll slip stitch into the first. Now, the rest of this is nice and easy. It's going to be a repeat all the way down the sleeve. You're going to chain 4, and double crochet into the same stitch, making your first V-stitch, then chain 2, V-stitch in the next V-chain, chain 2, and repeat that, V-stitch in the next V-chain, chain 2. And if you want to make it fan out further, after a few rows you can chain 3, and etc. if you really want more dramatic sleeves. But this is a nice middle of the road and a more contemporary sleeve that's still elegant, so that's what I recommend in the pattern. So yeah, just V-stitch, chain 2, and at the end you'll just slip stitch into the first V-stitch. So just to show my last V-stitch in the row, chain 2, and then you'll slip stitch into the first. And that's it. You'll just repeat that all the way until you have the length of sleeve that you want. You can attach this to your cardigan and then try it on, see how you like it, and just, yeah, keep going, and then I'll show you the simple trim that I do at the end. Alright, I have worked up my sleeve to the length I want it, and just a note, I did do something different. I did end up doing about 5 rows with 3 chains in between, so that's just something to note for that I adjusted this opposed to the usual pattern. And just to end it off, chain 1, once, let me see if I can get this a little neater to show you. And in my case, since I have 3 chains in between, it's a little different. For the V stitch, you're going to single crochet 3 in the V chain, like so. And if you just have the 2 chains, then you're going to single crochet 2. But in my case, whoops, I have 3, so I'm going to single crochet 3. So it makes it nice and even that in each chain space, I'm single crocheting 3, but otherwise it would be 3, 2, 3, 2, as you can see. Now, just to make it a little less bumpy, you can either do an extra row of single crochet, or what I like to do now is I do the 2 single crochet and then make a single crochet over the post by, let me go over that once more. So I insert a yarn over and pull through, and instead of ending it, I'm going to do that again into the next chain space area. So I have 3 loops and cinch it like so. So it's like a single crochet together, 2 together, or like you might do a decrease in other places. So this counts as the 3 that I have in my V-stitch. So I'm going to do a regular 2 in this case, or if you have only 2 chain spaces between, you would just single crochet 1 and then single crochet 2 together into the 2 spaces. And this helps keep it a little more even. I didn't want to give it a thick cuff, so that's just what I opted to do. But you can either do that or just add an extra row to flatten out the cuff. Maybe add another color trim if you want, it's up to you. So yeah, just continue that around till the end. All right, I'm at the last chain space, so I'm single crocheting 2. And then if you're doing just regular single crochets, you can end it there, or do the join into the first chain space. Then simply slip stitch, cut your yarn, and weave that in. And now all we need to do, let's bring you up, is attach our sleeves to our cardigan.